My beloved child, listen carefully. This is not a coincidence that you are here at this exact moment. What you are about to hear is an important alert from the realm of heaven. Time has shifted. The atmosphere around your life is changing. Archangel Michael stands with urgency, and Jesus himself is pressing this message into your spirit right now. A powerful and divine change is approaching, and it cannot wait. This is why you were urged to watch this video immediately. There is a reason your heart felt a sudden pull. There is a reason your spirit felt restless before clicking this message. Heaven does not interrupt without purpose. This alert is not for everyone. It is for the one who has been waiting, praying, questioning, and quietly enduring. You have asked God in silence, "When will things move?" And today heaven answers. Hear this clearly. The delay you thought was denial was actually divine preparation. Archangel Michael has been standing guard over what concerns you. What you thought was stuck has been restrained for a holy reason. But now, the restraint is being lifted. Something significant is aligning behind the scenes. The spiritual realm is active around your name. Doors that remained shut despite your effort were not closed forever. They were sealed until the right moment. And now, that moment is approaching rapidly. This is an alert because what is coming will require your attention, your faith, and your readiness. If you miss this moment, you may misunderstand what God is doing. Jesus urges you to watch because clarity is being released, not confusion. Peace is being restored, not fear. Archangel Michael says, the battle you could not see has reached a turning point. The resistance that kept repeating the same cycles in your life is weakening. Patterns that drained your energy are about to break. This is not emotional motivation. This is a divine shift. You may have noticed subtle signs already. Sudden thoughts about change. Unexpected emotions rising to the surface. Memories returning without explanation. These are not random. They are signals. Heaven is preparing your heart before preparing your surroundings. Let this settle in your spirit. God is not fixing something small. This change is foundational. It touches your future, your stability, and your sense of direction. That is why the alert is urgent. Jesus is calling you to awareness, not panic. To alignment, not anxiety. The enemy thrives on distraction, but heaven moves with precision. Right now, your focus matters more than your effort. Your obedience matters more than your speed. You have been underestimated by people, by systems, and even by yourself at times. But heaven has never misjudged you. Archangel Michael has been assigned to reinforce what God planted in you long ago. What was spoken over your life before you understood it is being revisited now. This alert is also protection. Not everything coming toward you is meant to stay. Some things will be revealed so they can be removed. Do not resist the truth when it surfaces. Exposure is not punishment. It is preparation. You are stepping into a season where discernment will be sharper. You will sense what no longer belongs. You will feel discomfort around what once felt familiar. That discomfort is holy. It is heaven guiding you away from what cannot go forward with you. Listen, this change cannot wait because your prayers have matured. The faith you built through endurance has reached a weight heaven responds to. There is a divine urgency because alignment is required before acceleration. Archangel Michael is not coming gently in this hour. He comes with authority, clearing paths, enforcing divine order, and protecting what God is releasing. You are not alone in this transition. You are guided. Jesus says, do not look back at what almost broke you. What is ahead will restore you beyond explanation. But restoration requires release. Trust the process even when it feels unfamiliar. Right now, heaven asks for your attention, not your perfection. Be still enough to recognize what God is highlighting. Be humble enough to follow even when the path shifts unexpectedly. This message is an alert because something long-awaited is near, but it will unfold quickly. Delay in response could cause delay in manifestation. Stay spiritually awake. Stay connected. If your heart is beating faster as you listen, that is confirmation. If your eyes feel heavy with emotion, that is recognition. Your spirit knows this message is for you. Archangel Michael stands ready. Jesus is leading, and the change approaching carries divine authority. This is only the beginning. Beloved soul, there is something you must understand right now before anything else unfolds. What heaven is initiating is not loud at first, but it is unstoppable once it begins. Many people miss divine changes because they expect thunder when God often starts with a whisper. But Archangel Michael is speaking clearly in this moment. What is forming around you has already been authorized in heaven, and no earthly resistance can cancel it. You may have felt tired lately, not just physically but spiritually. That exhaustion was not weakness. It was the sign of a cycle nearing its end. You have been carrying weight that was never meant to last forever. Jesus has seen every tear, every silent prayer, every time you chose faith when logic told you to quit. That is why this alert continues. Heaven does not forget endurance. Archangel Michael reveals that some of the pressure you experienced recently was not meant to crush you, but to push you out of stagnation. Comfort zones can become spiritual traps when they outlive their purpose. God is not removing peace. He is removing limitation. The change approaching will challenge how you think, how you respond, and how you see yourself. Hear this carefully. The version of you that survived the storm cannot stay where the storm happened. Growth requires movement. And this movement will feel sudden because it hath been delayed long enough. Jesus urges you to stay aware because distractions will try to pull your focus away right before clarity arrives. This is how the enemy operates. Noise before breakthrough. But your spirit is learning discernment. You are beginning to sense what deserves your energy and what does not. There is also something deeply personal about this shift. It is not just external. God is rearranging your inner world. Old fears are losing authority. Old labels are losing power. You will notice that things which once intimidated you no longer carry the same weight. That is not confidence from the world. It is authority from heaven. Archangel Michael says there are conversations about you in the spiritual realm that you cannot hear, but you will soon see the results of them. Favor is being repositioned. Support will come from unexpected directions. What you thought you had to force will begin to flow. At the same time, not everyone will understand the changes you make. Some people were only assigned to a previous season. Their confusion is not your responsibility. Obedience sometimes looks lonely before it looks successful. Jesus reminds you, do not explain what God told you to obey. Clarity will come with results, not arguments. This is also a moment to recognize the power of agreement. When you align your words with what heaven is doing, momentum increases. Speak life, even when circumstances look unfinished. Faith is not denial, it is alignment. Now listen closely, because this is important for what comes next. If this message is resonating, if something inside you feels awakened, take a moment right now to engage with this video. Like it as a sign of agreement. Share it with someone who needs clarity. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready for what God is doing. Subscribe to this channel and join this growing family, because messages like this are not random. They are part of a larger assignment. Your participation is not small. It amplifies the reach of God's word to others who are still waiting for hope. There is also strength in unity. When you support this space, you help create an altar where countless souls encounter divine direction. This is not just content, it is calling. Archangel Michael emphasizes that preparation is happening faster than you realize. You may feel like you are still learning, still healing, still becoming, and that is exactly where you need to be. God does not wait for perfection. He moves when the heart is willing. Jesus says, "Do not measure this season by what you lack. Measure it by what you are becoming." Wisdom is increasing. Discernment is sharpening. Courage is being rebuilt. You will soon notice opportunities that feel aligned rather than force. These are not accidents. They are confirmations. When peace accompanies progress, you are moving with God. There may also be moments of emotional release. Let them happen. Healing often comes disguised as discomfort. Trust that whatever surfaces now is surfacing to leave, not to stay. Archangel Michael is standing watch as this transition unfolds. You are protected from what would overwhelm you. You are guided through what would confuse you. You are strengthened for what lies ahead. And before you let your mind wander, stay with this message. What follows will connect the dots in a way you do not expect. Hold on. You will want to hear what is coming next. Chosen one, there is a sacred unveiling happening now, and your spirit was prepared long before this moment arrived. What you are sensing is not imagination. It is recognition. Heaven is drawing closer, not because of urgency alone, but because of intimacy. Archangel Michael stands near, not as a distant messenger, but as a guardian enforcing what God has already spoken over your life. This is the hour when hidden things begin to surface, not to shame you, but to free you. Jesus is not exposing to wound, he is revealing to heal. Certain truths have remained buried because you were not yet ready to carry the weight of clarity. But now, strength has been built inside you. You can see clearly without collapsing. There are things about your journey that finally begin to make sense. The delays, the detours, the moments when you felt overlooked or misunderstood. None of it was wasted. Each season shaped your discernment. Each disappointment refined your faith. You were being prepared for a level of trust that requires maturity. Archangel Michael declares that the confusion you once battled will no longer dominate your decisions. You are entering a phase where discernment replaces doubt. You will know when to move and when to wait. That inner certainty will become one of your greatest protections. Jesus says, "You are no longer standing at the threshold. You are stepping through it. And when you cross, some things cannot follow you. That includes old narratives, old guilt, and old expectations that others placed on you. Freedom requires separation. You may notice that certain relationships feel strained or distant now. This is not rejection. It is redirection. Some people cannot recognize the version of you that God is revealing. Let them go with grace. Alignment is more important than approval. There is also a new level of authority being released in your voice. Your words will carry weight because they are being filtered through wisdom. When you speak, things will shift, not because you demand them to, but because heaven backs what you say. Archangel Michael reminds you that spiritual authority is quiet, not arrogant. It flows from obedience, not control. And you have learned obedience through endurance. This is why this moment is sacred. You are not just receiving information. You are receiving activation. The divine change approaching is not outside of you alone. It is awakening something within you. Jesus urges you to remain open. Do not harden your heart against the unfamiliar. New blessings often arrive in unexpected packaging. Trust the peace, not the appearance. There is a door opening that will require courage, not confidence. Confidence comes later. Courage is what steps forward while still trusting God to fill in the gaps. Archangel Michael stands ready to protect your yes. Every time you choose alignment over fear, heaven responds. Now hear this carefully, because it is not a suggestion. It is a release. Type "I receive the shift" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 777 has just been released. As this shift unfolds, I hear the Lord say, "What you sow in this hour will become light for many." This message is not just reaching you. It is traveling to hearts that are desperate for direction. When you give, you are not supporting a channel. You are placing oil in the lamp so the light does not go out for someone else. I feel led to tell you plainly, I am inviting you to move with me now. Scripture says the harvest responds to the seed, and heaven is watching what you release in obedience. Your act of giving becomes a prophetic response to this divine alert. I bless every seed sown through Super Thanks membership or PayPal. May it return as clarity, protection, and open doors. Do not delay. Obey the stirring. The PayPal link is waiting in the description. Act now. Beloved one, as you step deeper into this unfolding moment, something subtle yet powerful begins to take shape around you. It may not be visible to others, but your spirit recognizes it instantly. This is the moment when heaven begins to rearrange not just circumstances, but identity. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your path, he is strengthening your inner resolve so you can walk it without hesitation. You are no longer responding from who you used to be. You are beginning to act from who you are becoming. This distinction matters more than you realize. The old reactions that once controlled you are losing their grip. Where fear once spoke first, peace is now answering. Where doubt once delayed you, discernment is now guiding you. Jesus is very close in this season. Not distant, not silent, close. He is teaching you how to listen beyond noise, beyond emotion, beyond urgency. He is teaching you how to recognize his voice even when it comes as a gentle nudge instead of a dramatic sign. This is maturity. This is growth. There will be moments when you feel like you are standing between two versions of yourself. Unfamiliar, one unknown. The familiar version wants safety. The unknown version carries promise. Archangel Michael says this tension is not confusion. It is transition. Do not rush it. Do not resist it. Let it shape you. What God is doing now requires depth, not haste. The divine change approaching is not meant to impress people. It is meant to establish you. Foundations are being reinforced so that what comes next does not shake you the way past seasons did. You may notice that your tolerance for certain environments, conversations, or habits is decreasing. This is not judgment. It is alignment. Your spirit is becoming sensitive to what drains you versus what nourishes you. Honor that sensitivity. It is a form of wisdom. Jesus reminds you that growth often feels like loss before it feels like gain. When old comforts fall away, it can feel unsettling. But comfort is not the same as calling. And you were never meant to live small just to feel safe. Archangel Michael is also revealing something important. Not every delay ahead is resistance. Some pauses are divine checkpoints. God may slow you down to protect you, to redirect you, or to deepen your understanding. Trust the timing even when it challenges your expectations. There is a refining happening in how you pray. You are no longer bidding. You are aligning. Your prayers are becoming clearer, more intentional, more grounded in trust rather than desperation. Heaven responds quickly to prayers that come from alignment. You are also learning when not to speak. Silence in this season is not weakness. It is discernment. Not everyone needs access to what God is developing in you. Some things grow best in hidden places. Jesus says, guard your heart, not by closing it, but by anchoring it in truth. Let your peace be the evidence that God is at work. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. There may be a test of patience approaching, not to frustrate you, but to confirm what has changed inside you. How you respond will reveal how much you have grown, and you will surprise yourself. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not walking into the unknown unprotected. The path ahead is covered. The decisions ahead are guided. Even when you feel uncertain, heaven is certain about you. This is also a season of internal healing. Old wounds may resurface briefly, not to reopen, but to finally close properly. Let God finish what He started. Do not rush your healing to appear strong. True strength allows God to tend to every broken place. Jesus is restoring your confidence, not as pride, but as quiet assurance. You will begin to trust yourself again, not because you are perfect, but because you are guided. As this part of the journey unfolds, stay grounded. Stay present. Stay open. What is forming now will support what is coming next. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where preparation meets promise. And as the days ahead continue to reveal more, remember this. Heaven is not asking you to figure everything out. It is asking you to walk forward in trust, one step at a time. What comes next will build upon everything you have just received. Stay attentive. Stay anchored. The unfolding is far from over. Precious one, as this journey continues, something deeper is happening beneath the surface of your life. It may feel quiet on the outside, but inwardly, a profound strengthening is taking place. Archangel Michael is not only watching over you, he is training your spirit to stand firm without needing constant reassurance. This is the season where inner stability replaces external validation. You are learning how to remain steady even when outcomes are not yet visible. That is not passive waiting, it is active trust. Jesus is teaching you to rest without disengaging, to believe without forcing, and to move without panic. This balance is rare, and it is being cultivated intentionally within you. There is a reason God has slowed certain things down. Speed would have exposed areas that needed reinforcement. Now, those areas are being fortified. Your faith is becoming rooted, not reactive. You are no longer swayed by every shift in emotion or circumstance. This is growth that cannot be shaken easily. Archangel Michael reveals that spiritual resilience is forming through repetition. The same type of challenge may appear again, but your response will be different. Where frustration once surfaced, wisdom will now speak. Where anxiety once took control, peace will now intervene. This is how heaven confirms transformation. Jesus wants you to notice how your thoughts are changing. You are no longer assuming the worst. You are no longer condemning yourself for every mistake. Grace is becoming your default language, first toward yourself, then toward others. This shift alone will open doors you never expected. There may be moments when you feel unseen again, as if recognition has been delayed. Do not misinterpret this. Hidden seasons are often where God does His most precise work. Visibility without preparation can damage what is meant to last. You are being preserved, not overlooked. Archangel Michael emphasizes that endurance is your current assignment. Not endurance that drains you, but endurance that strengthens you. You are learning how to remain consistent without burning out. Boundaries are being established. Discernment is increasing. Rest is becoming intentional. Jesus reminds you that obedience does not always feel rewarding at first. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels repetitive. But obedience builds spiritual muscle. It prepares you to carry responsibility without collapsing under its weight. You may sense a call to simplify certain areas of your life. Fewer distractions. Clear priorities. Less noise. This is not loss. It is refinement. When God prepares to release something significant, He often removes what competes for attention. Archangel Michael stands guard over your focus in this hour. Distractions will try to appear as opportunities. Not every open door is yours to walk through. Peace will be your confirmation. Confusion will be your signal to pause. Jesus says, "You do not need to rush to prove anything. What is meant for you will recognize you without striving." Trust that alignment attracts what effort never could. There is also a deepening of compassion happening within you. You are beginning to understand people without absorbing their burdens. This balance is important. You are learning how to love without losing yourself. This is maturity. You may find yourself revisiting old dreams with new eyes. What once seemed impossible may now feel quietly achievable. Not because circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. Faith sees differently. Archangel Michael reminds you that courage is not loud. Often, it is the quiet decision to continue when stopping would be easier. And you have been courageous more times than you realize. Jesus is strengthening your spiritual backbone. You will not bend under pressure the way you once did. You will not abandon truth to maintain comfort. Integrity is being established as a core value, not an occasional choice. As this strengthening continues, do not underestimate small confirmations. A timely word, a peaceful feeling, an unexpected opportunity. These are heaven's signals that you are still on course. Remain attentive but not anxious. Remain hopeful but not impatient. The foundation being laid now will support everything that follows. What is coming will require exactly the version of you that is being formed in this season. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. Heaven is building with precision. Stay present. Stay grounded. The unfolding continues, and what lies ahead will make sense of everything you are becoming now. Beloved child, as this message continues to unfold, you are entering a phase where awareness becomes your greatest strength. What once felt confusing will now begin to organize itself in your mind and spirit. Archangel Michael is drawing your attention, not to what is loud, but to what is consistent. God often confirms His will through repetition, and you are beginning to notice the same truths appearing again and again in different forms. This is not accidental. Jesus is teaching you how to recognize divine patterns. Certain themes keep resurfacing because they matter. Certain nudges keep returning because they are invitations. Heaven is patient, but it is also persistent. When God wants to move you forward, He will keep speaking until clarity replaces hesitation. You may feel a stronger desire to protect your peace now. This is not selfishness. It is stewardship. Peace is the environment where wisdom grows. When peace is disturbed unnecessarily, discernment weakens. Archangel Michael urges you to guard what God is cultivating in you. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your response. There is also a new boldness forming, but it is not aggressive. It is calm, steady, and rooted. You are learning how to say no without guilt and yes without fear. This balance will serve you well in the days ahead, because the divine change approaching will require clear decisions. Jesus reminds you that obedience often becomes clear once fear loses its voice. Fear exaggerates consequences. Faith clarifies direction. As fear loosens its grip, obedience becomes simpler, even when it is not easy. You may notice that your intuition feels sharper. You sense when something is off. You sense when something is aligned. This sensitivity is not to overwhelm you, but to guide you. Trust it, but always anchor it in prayer. Discernment grows best when it is rooted in humility. Archangel Michael also reveals that some doors will close quietly. Not every ending will come with explanation. Some things will simply fade. Let them. God does not always announce what He removes. Sometimes He just replaces it with something better. Jesus is preparing you for greater responsibility, not just in visible ways but in internal ones. Responsibility of thought, responsibility of speech, responsibility of influence. Even small choices matter more now because your impact is increasing. You are being trained to respond rather than react. Reactions are emotional. Responses are intentional. This shift alone will change how others experience you. Your calm will disarm tension. Your clarity will inspire trust. At this point, let me pause and speak directly to you as part of this journey. If this message is helping you, if it is strengthening your faith or bringing clarity to your spirit, take a moment right now to like this video. Share it with someone who may be struggling silently. Leave a comment as a declaration that you are aligned with what God is doing. Subscribe to this channel and join the community, because these messages are not isolated. They are part of a continuing flow meant to guide and uplift. Your engagement is not just support, it is partnership in spreading hope. Archangel Michael emphasizes that unity multiplies impact. When believers gather around truth, light travels further. Your participation helps extend this message beyond what you can see. Jesus continues to work gently but firmly in your heart. You may feel conviction at times, but it is always wrapped in love. Conviction corrects direction without condemning identity. God corrects because He trusts you with growth. There may be a test of consistency ahead. Not a dramatic one, but a quiet one. Will you continue to trust when progress feels slow? Will you continue to obey when affirmation is minimal? These moments matter. They prove depth. Archangel Michael assures you that heaven notices what people overlook. Faithfulness in hidden places carries great weight. What you do when no one applauds is shaping what God will later reveal. Jesus says, do not underestimate the power of staying faithful, staying kind, staying grounded. Many give up right before alignment becomes visible. You are being encouraged to remain steady. And before you let your attention drift, stay with this message. What unfolds next will connect what you have been sensing with what is about to happen. Hold on. This is where deeper understanding begins to surface. Beloved one, as you move further into this unfolding season, a deeper clarity begins to rise within you. It does not come as a sudden flash, but as a steady knowing that settles into your spirit. Archangel Michael is guiding you to recognize that clarity is not always dramatic. Sometimes it feels like quiet certainty, a calm awareness that you are no longer lost, even if the full map is not yet visible. You are beginning to trust the process more than the outcome. This shift is powerful. When trust deepens, anxiety loosens its grip. Jesus is teaching you that faith is not about controlling tomorrow, but about walking faithfully today. Each step you take in alignment creates stability for the next one. There is also a growing separation happening between what feeds your soul and what merely distracts it. You are becoming less interested in noise and more drawn to meaning. Conversations that once entertained you may now feel empty. This is not arrogance. It is discernment. Your spirit is maturing, and with maturity comes selectiveness. Archangel Michael says this is the season where inner agreement matters more than external validation. You do not need everyone to understand you. You need to understand what God is asking of you. When inner agreement is established, external resistance loses its power. You may notice moments when you are tempted to revisit old patterns, not because you want to return, but because familiarity feels safe. Be gentle with yourself in these moments. Healing is not linear. Growth includes remembering why you left what you left. Let those memories serve as reminders, not invitations. Jesus speaks peace over your mind. He knows the thoughts that try to pull you backward. He knows the questions that surface late at night. He is not frustrated with you for having them. He is inviting you to bring them into the light instead of carrying them alone. This is also a season of refining your expectations. Some things you hoped would happen quickly are taking longer, not because they are denied, but because they are being built properly. God is more interested in sustainability than speed. What lasts must be formed with care. Archangel Michael emphasizes patience, not as passive waiting, but as active trust. Patience says, I will not rush what God is perfecting. This kind of patience protects you from shortcuts that could cost you later. You are learning to listen more than you speak, to observe more than you assume. This awareness will save you from unnecessary conflict. Wisdom often reveals itself through restraint. Not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. Timing matters. Jesus reminds you that love does not always require explanation. Sometimes love looks like consistency. Sometimes it looks like boundaries. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Trust that God is teaching you how to love without losing your peace. There may be a sense of anticipation building within you. Not anxiety, but expectancy. Something feels near, even if you cannot name it yet. This is the stirring of alignment. When purpose and preparation begin to meet, the spirit recognizes it before the mind understands it. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not imagining this. Heaven is moving. The groundwork you have been laying through obedience, prayer, and endurance is beginning to show results beneath the surface. Roots grow unseen long before fruit appears. You may also notice a new compassion for yourself. You are less harsh, less critical. You are beginning to honor how far you have come instead of constantly focusing on how far you think you still need to go. Your self-compassion is healing. It creates space for joy to return. Jesus says joy is not postponed until everything is perfect. Joy is found in presence, in gratitude, in recognizing God's faithfulness even in unfinished seasons. Allow yourself to experience moments of joy without guilt. There is also strengthening of resolve happening. When challenges arise, you recover fast. You do not spiral the way you once did. This resilience is evidence of growth. What once took days to shake off may now take moments. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that you are not fighting alone. Spiritual reinforcement surrounds you. Even when you feel tired, you are supported. Even when answers are delayed, guidance is present. As this part of the journey continues, remain attentive to subtle shifts. Small changes often signal larger movements. A change in perspective, a change in desire, a change in reaction. These are signs that God is preparing you for what is next. Stay grounded in truth. Stay anchored in faith. Stay open to instruction. The unfolding is becoming clearer, and what lies ahead will soon begin to take shape in ways you can recognize. What you are becoming is necessary for where you are going. Trust that heaven knows the order, the timing, and the purpose. Continue forward with confidence, because the path beneath your feet is being established step by step. Beloved soul, you have reached a moment of convergence where preparation and promise begin to meet. What once felt distant is now drawing closer, not because circumstances suddenly changed, but because you did. Archangel Michael is speaking with clarity in this hour. The strength you carry now is evidence that heaven has been faithful in every hidden season. You are no longer asking the same questions you once did. Your prayers have shifted. Where you once asked why, you now ask how. This is not resignation. It is readiness. Jesus is guiding your heart into cooperation with God's will rather than resistance to the process. This cooperation accelerates alignment. There is a sacred confidence settling within you. Not the kind that boasts, but the kind that stands firm. You are beginning to trust God even when you do not see immediate confirmation. This trust is rare, and it is powerful. It allows heaven to move freely without interruption from fear. Archangel Michael reveals that some things you thought were permanent obstacles were actually temporary assignments. They shaped you, trained you, and strengthened you, but they were never meant to define you. Your season is ending. Release them with gratitude, not bitterness. You may feel a heightened sensitivity to truth now. When something is misaligned, your spirit senses it quickly. When something is right, peace confirms it deeply. This sensitivity is not to burden you. It is to guide you. Honor it. It is part of your spiritual maturity. Jesus reminds you that obedience does not always bring immediate reward, but it always brings lasting fruit. The seeds you planted through patience, forgiveness, and faith are beginning to break open beneath the soil. Growth is happening even when you cannot see it yet. There may be a moment soon where you are asked to step forward without full assurance. This is where faith becomes action. Courage will not wait for certainty. It moves because God has spoken. Archangel Michael stands ready to reinforce that step with protection and clarity. You are also learning how to rest without guilt. Rest is no longer avoidance. It is trust. You are allowing God to work without feeling the need to control every detail. This surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. Jesus is restoring balance in your life. Extremes are being softened. Emotions are stabilizing. Your inner world is becoming a place of peace rather than pressure. This inner stability will support the external blessings that are approaching. There is a sense of divine timing unfolding. Things are lining up in ways that could not have been forced. Conversations, opportunities, insights. None of it is random. Heaven is orchestrating with precision. Archangel Michael emphasizes that gratitude will accelerate what comes next. Gratitude keeps your heart open and your spirit receptive. It acknowledges God's faithfulness even before the full manifestation arrives. You may also notice that you are being called to encourage others. Your words carry comfort because they come from experience. Do not underestimate the impact of your testimony. What you survive has purpose beyond you. Jesus says, what you carry now is not just for your future. It is for the healing of others. Steward it well. Stay humble. Stay obedient. As this moment settles into your spirit, receive this release with intention. Type "I am ready for God's timing" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 1122 is now activated over your life. As heaven aligns timing and purpose, the Lord is saying, those who sow into my work will see rivers open where there were dry places. This message is reaching hearts that are waiting for hope, and your obedience helps that light travel further. I feel led to say this clearly. I am calling you to act with me in this moment. When you give through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing into souls, not systems. Scripture declares that seed sown in faith never returns empty, and I speak increase over every giver right now. Your support becomes a prophetic response to this divine alignment. Do not hesitate, move as the Spirit leads. The PayPal link is in the description. Obey now. Beloved one, as the path continues to unfold, you may sense a quiet confidence beginning to settle deep within you. It is not excitement that fades, nor is it emotional reassurance. It is steadiness. Archangel Michael is confirming that this steadiness is the result of alignment. When inner resistance dissolves, peace takes its place. You are no longer chasing answers with urgency. You are allowing truth to meet you where you are. This posture is powerful. Jesus is teaching you that clarity does not always come through striving. Often it comes through stillness. In stillness, you hear what noise once drowned out. There is a recalibration happening in how you interpret challenges. What once felt like setbacks now feel like information. You are learning from obstacles without being defined by them. This perspective shift is crucial for where you are going next. Archangel Michael reveals that discernment is now functioning as a filter. You are noticing when something drains you versus when it strengthens you. This awareness will protect you from unnecessary detours. Not every struggle is yours to fight. Some are simply signals to choose differently. Jesus reminds you that wisdom often looks like restraint. Saying less, explaining less, reacting less. This does not mean you are shrinking. It means you are conserving strength for what truly matters. You may experience moments where old insecurities attempt to resurface. Do not be alarmed. This is not regression. It is a final test of authority. When insecurity appears and you do not obey it, its power weakens permanently. You are learning to observe thoughts without surrendering to them. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not behind. Comparison is losing its influence over you because your path is becoming personal, not performative. You are no longer measuring success by others' timelines. You are honoring God's timing for your life. Jesus is also refining your understanding of purpose. Purpose is not a single destination. It is a way of living aligned with truth. You do not step into purpose one day. You walk in it daily through obedience and integrity. There is a deepening trust forming between you and God. You are beginning to trust not only His plans, but His process. This trust brings rest. When trust is present, anxiety cannot dominate. Archangel Michael emphasizes that preparation often looks uneventful. Do not dismiss ordinary days. They are building consistency. Consistency creates stability. Stability allows expansion. You may also notice an increase in gratitude for small things. A quiet moment, a kind word, a sense of peace. Gratitude keeps your heart open and prevents bitterness from taking root. This openness will be important in the season ahead. Jesus says, "Do not rush to arrive." There is wisdom in the journey itself. Every step teaches you something about God and something about yourself. There may be a sense that something is approaching, but it feels undefined. That is because heaven is still shaping details. Trust that when it is time for clarity, it will come without confusion. God is not the author of chaos. Archangel Michael stands as reassurance that you are protected during this waiting. Waiting does not mean inactivity. It means trust in motion. You are moving forward internally even when external movement feels slow. You are also learning how to carry responsibility without pressure. Pressure demands performance. Responsibility invites stewardship. God is teaching you how to steward what He gives without losing peace. Jesus continues to remind you that your worth is not tied to outcomes. You are valued because you are His. This truth stabilizes identity and frees you from striving. As you move through this part of the journey, stay attentive to subtle confirmations. A word that resonates, a door that opens naturally, a sense of peace that remains. These are markers of alignment. Do not underestimate the power of consistency in prayer, in character, in faith. What you repeat in obedience becomes strength. The unfolding is becoming more tangible. You are closer than you realize. Remain patient. Remain faithful. Remain open. What is coming will not surprise heaven, and it will not overwhelm you. You are being prepared to receive it with wisdom and peace. The next movement will reveal why this season of steadiness was necessary. Stay grounded. Stay aligned. The journey continues with purpose. Beloved child, you are now standing at a place where discernment becomes direction. What you have been learning internally is ready to be applied externally. Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to this truth. Preparation is reaching completion, and awareness is becoming responsibility. You are not just receiving insight anymore. You are being asked to live it. There is a quiet seriousness settling in your spirit, not heavy, but focused. You are beginning to understand that what God is shaping in you is meant to be carried with intention. Jesus is not rushing you, but He is inviting you to walk with clarity. The season of confusion is fading, and the season of conscious choice is rising. You may notice that situations are presenting you with clearer options now. Where once everything felt blurred, choices are becoming defined. This is not pressure, it is trust. Heaven trusts you with clarity because you have learned humility. You have learned to listen before acting. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the stage where obedience becomes visible. Your decisions will begin to produce results, not because you force them, but because they are aligned. Alignment creates flow. Flow creates momentum. You are also becoming more aware of your influence. Whether you realize it or not, others are watching how you respond, how you speak, how you remain steady. Influence is not always announced. Sometimes it is observed quietly. Carry it with grace. Jesus reminds you that leadership begins with self-governance. How you manage your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions matters. You are learning not to be ruled by impulse, but guided by wisdom. This maturity will open doors that talent alone never could. There may be moments when you are tempted to overthink what God has already confirmed. When this happens, return to peace. Peace is your compass. If peace remains, you are still aligned. If peace fades, pause and pray. God leads through peace more often than through pressure. Archangel Michael assures you that protection remains active around you. Just because clarity increases does not mean resistance disappears. But resistance will no longer confuse you. You will recognize it for what it is and respond with wisdom instead of fear. Jesus is also teaching you how to wait without losing momentum. Waiting does not mean stopping. It means continuing to live faithfully while trusting God with timing. This balance keeps your spirit healthy. You may feel a renewed sense of purpose stirring again. Not the overwhelming kind, but the steady kind. Purpose is no longer something you chase. It is something you walk in. Daily obedience has made purpose accessible. At this moment, pause with me. If this message hath been guiding you, strengthening you, or bringing clarity to your spirit, now is the time to engage. Like this video as an act of agreement. Share it with someone who may be searching for direction but does not know where to turn. Leave a comment declaring that you are walking in alignment. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing community, because what is being released here is not random. It is intentional. Your support helps this word reach those who are still waiting for confirmation. There is power in unity. When you engage, you are not just watching. You are participating in the spread of truth. Heaven honors partnership. Archangel Michael emphasizes that consistency matters now more than intensity. Do not burn yourself out trying to do everything at once. Focus on what God has placed in front of you. Faithfulness in small things prepares you for greater responsibility. Jesus says, "Trust the process even when progress feels slow. What is being built now will last." Life and crap under pressure. God is building with care. There may be a test of focus approaching. Distractions may appear appealing. Opportunities may arise that look good but feel off. Listen to that inner check. Discernment is your safeguard. You are also learning to celebrate growth without needing applause. Quiet progress is still progress. Heaven celebrates what people overlook. As this message continues, stay present. What comes next will bring together many of the things you have been sensing but could not yet explain. Hold on. This is where deeper understanding begins to crystallize. Remain grounded. Remain obedient. Remain open. The unfolding is nearing its final movements, and what is ahead will reveal the full picture of why this journey required such precision. Beloved one, you are now entering a stretch of the journey where understanding deepens and resistance weakens. What once felt heavy no longer presses the same way, not because challenges have vanished, but because you have changed internally. Archangel Michael is confirming that the weight you carry now is different. It is not the weight of uncertainty, but the weight of responsibility, and you are ready for it. There is a calm alertness forming in you. You are present, attentive, and grounded. You are no longer reacting to life as it comes. You are responding with intention. This shift marks a turning point. Jesus is showing you that peace does not come from the absence of challenges, but from alignment with truth. You may notice that decisions are becoming simpler. Not easy, but clear. Confusion thrived when fear was loud. Now that fear has quieted, clarity can speed. You are learning to trust the first gentle nudge rather than waiting for overwhelming signs. This is maturity in faith. Archangel Michael reveals that spiritual authority is now active in your life in a new way. Authority does not mean control over others. It means governance over yourself. Your thoughts are more disciplined. Your emotions are more regulated. Your reactions are more measured. This inner order creates outer stability. Jesus reminds you that the kingdom of God moves through order, not chaos. As your inner world becomes ordered, your external world will begin to reflect that order. Do not be surprised if situations start resolving themselves without the struggle you once expected. There may be moments when you reflect on how far you have come and feel a mix of gratitude and humility. Let both remain. Gratitude keeps you aware of God's faithfulness. Humility keeps you teachable. Together, they protect you from pride and discouragement. You are also becoming more comfortable with silence. Silence no longer feels empty. It feels full. Full of awareness. Full of presence. Full of God. This is where wisdom grows. Not everything needs to be filled with words or action. Some things require stillness. Archangel Michael emphasizes that discernment will continue to sharpen, but it must remain rooted in love. Discernment without love becomes judgment. Love without discernment becomes compromise. You are being taught to carry both in balance. Jesus speaks gently to your heart. You do not need to revisit old seasons to validate your growth. What you survive, it does not need to be rehearsed to be proven. Let the past stay where it belongs. The lessons remain, but the weight does not. There may be an invitation soon to step into something that feels slightly larger than your comfort zone. It will not feel overwhelming, but it will require faith. This is intentional. God stretches gently, not abruptly. When the invitation comes, you will recognize it by the peace that accompanies it. Archangel Michael assures you that hesitation will not disqualify you. Fear acknowledged, but not obeyed, loses its power. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing obedience anyway. You are also learning to release control over outcomes. You are doing your part faithfully and trusting God with results. This surrender frees you from anxiety and allows joy to return. Joy is not dependent on perfection. It is rooted in trust. Jesus is restoring a sense of expectancy in you. Not impatience, but hope. You are beginning to expect God to move, not because you demand it, but because you trust His character. Expectancy opens the heart to receive. There is also a refinement in how you view success. Success is no longer just arrival. It is obedience along the way. Each faithful step matters. Each aligned choice counts. Heaven measures differently than the world. Archangel Michael stands as reassurance that you are not walking alone into what comes next. Protection, guidance, and clarity remain active. Even when things move quickly, you will not be overwhelmed. You have been prepared deliberately. As this stage of the journey settles in, remain attentive but not tense. Remain hopeful but not hurried. The final movements are approaching, and they will bring resolution, not confusion. What God is about to complete will make sense of the waiting, the shaping, and the silence. Stay anchored. Stay obedient. Stay open. The unfolding is nearly complete, and what comes next will carry the weight of fulfillment. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything gently comes together, not with noise, not with chaos, but with divine certainty. What heaven began stirring within you has now reached its appointed completion. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you, not as a warning voice anymore, but as a witness, confirming that what God promised has not been forgotten, delayed, or altered. It has been preserved. You are not standing at an ending. You are standing at a commissioning. Look back only long enough to recognize the transformation. You are no longer the one who questioned every step. You are no longer ruled by fear of timing or fear of failure. You have been shaped into someone who can carry blessing without breaking under its weight. That is why this divine change could not come earlier. You were being prepared to receive it whole. Jesus speaks clearly now. You have learned to trust me in the dark, and because of that, you will walk confidently in the light. What once required effort will now require stewardship. What once demanded endurance will now demand wisdom. This is growth. There will be moments ahead where you realize doors are opening without struggle. Not because resistance vanished, but because authority hath been established. Alignment does what striving never could. You are stepping into a flow that responds to obedience rather than anxiety. Archangel Michael confirms that cycles which once repeated are now permanently closed. The lessons remain, but the burden is gone. You will not have to revisit pain to prove strength. Your peace will be the evidence. You may notice people responding differently to you. Not because you change to please them, but because you change in truth. Light alters environments without explanation. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Do not dim what God has refined. Jesus reminds you that obedience will still be required, but it will no longer feel confusing. Direction will come with peace. Direction will come with love. And when challenges arise, they will refine, not derail you. This is where purpose becomes practical, not abstract, not distant, lived out daily through integrity, humility, and trust. You are not waiting for permission anymore. Heaven has already said yes. Archangel Michael stands watch as you move forward, ensuring that what is released to you is protected from distortion. You will recognize truth faster. You will disengage from distraction quicker. You will recover from setbacks stronger. This is fruit. Jesus says, "Do not rush ahead and do not look back. Walk with me." That is where fullness is found. Now receive this final release with intention and faith. Type "I walk in divine completion" in the comments if you receive this word with your whole heart. Lesson code 4441 has now been activated over your life. As this divine completion settles, the Lord is speaking directly to you. What you release now becomes provision for others who are still waiting. This message is reaching souls at the exact moment they need it, and your obedience keeps the river flowing. I am telling you plainly, I am asking you to move with me in this hour. Scripture declares that when seed is sown into good ground, heaven opens its storehouses. When you give through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not donating. You are answering a prophetic call. I speak blessing over every giver. May what you release return as protection, increase, and divine clarity. Do not hesitate. Obey the nudge now. The PayPal link is in the description. Release your seed and let God multiply it.